Incredible twist, nurse's hidden struggles revealed patient's father offers unexpected first date. Emily stood at the nursing station, her heart racing and palms sweaty. The bustling community hospital in Oakwood had become her second home, a world swirling with the sounds of beeping monitors and hushed conversations. Every day, she donned her scrubs, a warrior facing the relentless tide of patients. But that day was different. Just beyond the chaos, Tom, a quiet yet charming father of a young patient under her care, flashed a smile that stole her breath away. In that moment, the burdens of motherhood and the drone of the ongoing pandemic faded into the background, replaced by a rare flicker of hope. Trying to keep her spirits high, Emily pushed a wayward strand of hair behind her ear and called over to Mia's picture taped to her locker. It was colorful, with her 6-year-old daughter's proud scrawl declaring, "Mommy, you are a hero." Yet, behind the superhero facade, Emily felt drained, balancing relentless shifts and the weight of bills while missing the companionship she craved. But laughter spilled from her lips when Tom cracked a joke about hospital food. It was contagious, a momentary escape from their shared struggles. "Everything okay?" he inquired. His dark eyes held a quiet understanding that felt refreshing amidst her fears. In that fleeting connection, Emily felt seen. Still, she couldn't help but pull away, keeping her heart under lock and key, acutely aware of past scars scraping at her resolve. The community potluck was meant to be a joyous occasion, an uplift in trying times. Yet, as Emily half-heartedly stirred the pasta salad, her heart raced at the thought of Tom asking her out. When he finally approached her, the words spilled from his lips, unexpected and bold, "Would you like to grab coffee sometime?" Her heart soared but crashed swiftly. Who was she to deserve happiness? A tangle of insecurities swelled inside her, overpowering the spark ignited by Tom's invitation. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As the evening wore on, Emily's mind swirled, crushed under the weight of self-doubt. Just when she thought she might let her guard down, the school fundraiser confronted her. Tom stood by the stage, addressing the crowd. "Emily has been a rock for all of us during this pandemic. Her unwavering support, her sacrifices, they've not gone unnoticed." His heartfelt gratitude radiated through the room, igniting murmurs of approval among fellow parents. They nodded in agreement, their smiles shining bright like lanterns in the dark. Emily's chest tightened. Could he really see her? Just when her heart brimmed with possibility, she felt a shadow of doubt creep in. Would she ruin this delicate connection with her baggage? Could she take this leap of faith? The tension soared as she stood at the precipice of change. Would she embrace the light Tom offered or retreat to the lonely shadows she knew too well? The room grew quiet, the community holding its breath as she hesitated. The echoes of hope and trepidation hung in the air, leaving everyone waiting for her next move. Emily's heart hammered against her chest as she surveyed the room. Would she really let Tom down? The crowd watched her, anticipation thickening like fog. She could sense their hope mingling with her own uncertainty, and it felt both exhilarating and suffocating. Tom's voice broke through her swirling thoughts, soft yet steady. "We all see how hard you work. You truly deserve some joy in your life." A wave of warmth swept over her as her eyes met his. That simple acknowledgement, his sincerity, pulled at something deep within her. It felt as though he had reached into her chest, stirring up emotions she had long buried. She took a deep breath and opened her mouth to respond, but the words stuck. What could she say? Could she let herself hope for something more? "Go for it," a fellow nurse shouted from the back, her voice cutting through the tension like a hot knife through butter. Laughter erupted, breaking the heaviness in the room, and Emily felt her cheeks flush. "Yeah, Emily. "You got this," cheered another. The playful nudging from her colleagues felt like the gentle push she needed to face her fears. The energy in the room shifted, offering her the lightness she needed to step forward instead of retreating. "Well, she started, her voice trembling but her spirit rising. "I've been so caught up in everything. Being a nurse, taking care of my daughter, it's been a lot." The honesty felt liberating. The crowd listened, rapt, as she continued. "But I've also realized I miss feeling connected to others." The weight of her words lingered in the air, electrifying. Tom stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. "You're far from alone, Emily. We're all in this together, but it doesn't mean you can't think of yourself for once." She looked down, her heart doing somersaults. His kindness was a tether to hope. It was all too much and not enough at the same time. Could she really allow herself this chance? A quiet voice came from within her, a voice hardened by trials but softened by desire. "I would love to grab that coffee with you, Tom. Really, I would." The room burst with joy, claps, cheers, and laughter erupted, wrapping around her like a warm blanket. Relief washed over her, followed by a wave of excitement. But then, in the middle of her euphoric moment, a sharp pang of anxiety pierced through her focus. Would she really be good enough for him? Or would her past insecurities taint what could be something beautiful? As the applause faded, she stole a glance at Tom, who smiled, his expression a mix of warmth and mystery. For the first time in a long while, she felt something stir within, like a seed of new beginnings planted in fertile ground. Yet, beneath the surface of this joyous decision, a question began to swirl within her. What else would she need to confront to embrace this new path? She could feel the weight of her past still overshadowing the spark of her budding connection. "Emily." Tom's voice pulled her back from her thoughts. "We really should talk about this over coffee sometime soon." She nodded, a tentative smile forming, but uncertainty lingered in her gaze. As the night came to a close, Emily noticed the whispers of her coworkers' encouragement, excitement, but also tales of past relationships and the strife that can come with them. She knew facing her heart would be no easy feat. She could stand at the edge, but the leap might still find her sore or fall. Could she navigate the intricate mix of joy and fear that lay ahead in this new chapter? The night wrapped itself around her like a comforting shroud, yet unwrapped beneath was a new journey just beginning. As she stepped outside, cool air kissed her face, reinforcing her resolve. She turned and took a last glance at the hospital, where her life had unfolded, and then at Tom, who awaited her with a question in his eyes that promised more to come, but deeper within, another thought burrowed into her mind, one that threatened to muddle her excitement. What would happen if they both got swept up in their pasts, weighed down by the baggage they carried? The uncertainty hung in the air, a storm on the horizon, raising the stakes of the choices they were about to make. Emily walked through the door to her apartment, her heart still buzzing from the night's events. The living room felt both familiar and foreign, a reminder of the life she had built and the one she was beginning to explore. She glanced at the clock. It was late, but sleep would not find her easily tonight. Her daughter Mia was already asleep, tucked away in her cozy room, dreaming of princesses and adventure. The quietness of the house wrapped around Emily like a blanket, allowing her a moment to breathe. Despite the rush of excitement that followed her acceptance of Tom's invitation, doubt had crept in, twisting her joy into a bundle of knots in her stomach. She flopped onto the couch, staring at the wall, where pictures of Mia and her interlaced memories hung. Each face told a story, each smile a testament to resilience. Yet, there was no denying the big empty space where love should reside. "Do I even know how to do this?" she whispered to the room, seeking an answer in the stillness. The thought made her chest tighten. The last relationship had ended years ago, leaving fragments of herself scattered in the aftermath. Her heart hesitated to beat fully again, fearing the pain of another crack. Suddenly, her phone buzzed on the coffee table, breakingly loud in the silence. It was a message from Tom. "Just wanted to say I'm excited about coffee tomorrow. Can't wait to get to know you better." Her pulse quickened. Was it excitement or fear? She didn't know, but a smile crept onto her face, and she felt her heart do a little dance. It was thrilling yet terrifying, standing on the edge of something beautiful, and she could almost touch it. But shadows from the past loomed. Would she mess this up? What if they both ended up running from their connections because of insecurity? The weight of her worries was almost tangible, and she squeezed her eyes shut, trying to dispel the negative thoughts. Focus on the moment, she muttered to herself, knowing all too well that her insecurities had their own voice, often overpowering her hope. The next morning, Emily stood before the bathroom mirror, scrutinizing her reflection. Every time she looked at herself, she found the flaws: first the dark circles under her eyes from sleepless nights, the stress lines creeping across her forehead. But today, amid those familiar complaints, there was something new. She felt a spark, an anticipation that wasn't there before. Maybe allowing herself to be vulnerable could bring about change. With a deep breath, she put on a light blue dress that accentuated her figure and swirled comfortably around her. It felt good to dress up, to present the version of her that had been buried under service scrubs and routine struggles. She fixed her hair into soft waves, letting it fall freely around her shoulders, and applied a touch of makeup, a subtle enhancement of her natural beauty, not a mask to hide behind. That as she grabbed her purse and keys, a mix of apprehension and excitement coursed through her. "You can do this," she murmured to herself, reaffirming her resolve. She stepped outside, the air crisp and clear, and she felt the warmth of the sun bathe her skin, giving her an extra boost of courage. Arriving at the cafe, the familiar scents of brewed coffee and freshly baked pastries greeted her. Emily's heart pounded as she spotted Tom at a small table in the corner, his gaze fixed intently on his phone. This was it. No turning back now. But as she approached, a sudden noise from the street outside cut through her thoughts. A child's laugh, layered with joyful innocence, suddenly reminded her of how easily emotions could shift. As she stepped closer, a sense of dread swept over her. What if the connection she felt was just this fleeting spark? Emily. Tom looked up, his mouth breaking into that inviting smile she had come to anticipate. But the moment lingered. The blend of hope and fear fought within her, a battle she hadn't anticipated. "Hi, Tom," she said, her voice trembling slightly. In that instant, both of them shared an unspoken pledge. This was their beginning, but also a potential unraveling. The stakes were high. What would happen if their connection brought up not only joy but also the echoes of their past pain? The question hung in the air, heavy yet hopeful. Tom stood, pushing his chair back a little too swiftly, the legs scraping against the cafe floor. It broke the spell of their moment, but Emily couldn't help but notice the glint of attraction in his eyes. The warmth of his presence wrapped around her, but anxiety poked at her mind like an overzealous toddler demanding attention. "Great to finally meet in person," he said, his voice matching the bright smile on his face. Emily felt herself mirror his enthusiasm, her nerves blending in with the budding excitement. She sat down, trying to feel at ease as she wrapped her fingers around the coffee cup to stave off the chills running up her spine. "Likewise," she replied, her voice steadier now. They exchanged a few pleasantries about the cafe, the weekend weather, and Mia, those safe topics that created a bridge amid the turbulence of their emotions. As they talked, Emily noticed the easy way Tom laughed and the way he genuinely listened when she spoke. For the first time in a while, she felt like she could loosen the grip of her own expectations. She was simply a woman sitting across from a man who seemed interested in her. But moments later, Tom posed a question that knocked the breath from her lungs. "What do you like to do for fun, Emily? What brings you joy outside of work?" Her gaze dropped to the table. The question seemed harmless, yet it felt like a trap. Joy was scarce in her life these days. The last time she truly felt free was buried under deadlines and sleepless nights filled with responsibility. "Honestly, I'm not sure. Being a mom takes up most of my time," she said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Tom's expression softened. "That's incredible in its own right, but you deserve to have fun too, to find joy for yourself. His words were like light cascading into a dark room, igniting something deep within. Maybe I just need reminders of what that joy is or where to find it, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Before Tom could respond, an unexpected interruption burst into the cafe. An older woman, perhaps in her 60s, with a stylish scarf twirled around her neck stormed past them. "Tom, you could at least call me once a week." She stopped in front of their table, her hands on her hips, glaring at him with a touch of playful indignation. "Mom!" he exclaimed, a sheepish grin spreading across his face. "This is Emily." Emily's cheeks flushed, she felt like she stumbled into a one-act play, the spotlight nerfing its way towards her. She waved awkwardly before realizing his mother's scrutiny would encourage all kinds of conversation. "Oh. Are you a nurse?" She directed her question at Emily, who nodded hesitantly, unsure of how far the curiosity would stretch. "Well, Tom makes me promise to introduce him to all of the nice women I meet at the hospital. At least one of us needs to find love," she said, her voice ringing with warmth and mischief. The laughter that followed lightened Emily's heart, and she felt a flutter of unexpected ease, but it quickly turned into a knot again when she realized what was at stake. Was Tom really interested in her? Or was this a jocular feint that would lead to her own heart being left behind yet again? As they all laughed, Emily felt like she was holding onto a cliff. What if she lost her grip? Tom glanced back at Emily, and their eyes locked for a moment. "Guess my mom is a bit too involved," he laughed, but something serious flickered in his gaze. "But she's right too. I really do want to get to know you." "Really?" It slipped out before she could catch it, surprising both of them. "Yeah, really," Tom said, his serious tone settling, evoking something deep inside her. Just then, her phone vibrated violently on the table, breaking the moment. She swiped it to silence it, her heart racing. A message from Mia's school. Potentially important, she thought, panic creeping in. "What's wrong?" Tom asked, the laughter fading from his expression. Emily caught her breath, looking between the screen and Tom. "It's nothing, just I have to read this." As she glanced down, her heart thudded louder. What news awaited her? Would she dive back into the whirlwind of her responsibilities, or would she hold on to this threadbare moment with Tom? The walls of her past tightened around her, leaving her to question, was she ready to let it all go for something new? Or would she run back into the safe arms of her routine, allowing fear to win again? Her heart raced, uncertain of what she would choose next. Emily's fingers trembled as she read the message. The words blurred before her eyes, a series of urgent phrases and exclamations that felt like a chain tightening around her chest. "Mia isn't feeling well. Please contact the school." It was so simple, and yet it turned her world upside down. I should. I need to take this," she stammered, standing abruptly, her chair nearly toppling over. Tom reached out instinctively, grasping her wrist gently, concern streaming across his face. "Emily, wait. Is it about Mia?" She nodded, tears welling, a mixture of fear and frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "She's sick," she managed to say, her voice cracking as she pulled her phone closer, feeling the weight of motherhood crashing down on her. "Do you need to go?" She hesitated, torn between this strange connection sparking between them and the urgent call of being a mother. The mother who always dropped everything for her child, even her own joy. "Maybe I could go with you. We could check on her together," Tom suggested earnestly, his eyes searching hers, trying to offer an outstretched hand rather than let her slip away. The offer took Emily by surprise. A warm blush crept up her cheeks. Part of her wanted to scream that she didn't need help, that this was her burden to carry alone. But another part, the part that had been hesitant to let him in, felt an unfamiliar flutter of hope. "Really? You do that?" she asked, her voice softer now, laced with vulnerability. "Why not? If she is sick, I think we should both be there. Plus, it gives me a chance to see the real you mom in action," he replied, the corner of his mouth quirking up in a tentative smile. It was the kindness, the simplicity of his offer that warmed her heart. How could he be so genuine? Wasn't this too good to be true? Emily nodded slowly, feeling a flicker of courage ignite within her. Okay. Let us go. They stepped out into the bustling street, the sounds of the city swirling around them. The chilly air hit her cheeks, invigorating her senses. A sigh escaped her lips, clouding in the air like her worries. Tom walked beside her, a steady presence that eased the weight she had become accustomed to carrying alone. As they reached the school, her mind raced with scenarios. Would Mia be alright? Was it just a cold or something more? The potential scenarios painted a grim picture in her head. Tom's hand brushed her arm, jolting her back to the present. Hey, he said softly, I know it's tough, but whatever happens, you're doing an amazing job. She looked up at him, surprised. His eyes held sincerity, not just words rehearsed. Suddenly, it felt like he was peeling away the layers she wrapped around herself. Thanks, that means a lot, she said, feeling her heart swell. Inside the school, the air buzzed with murmurs. They navigated the hallways as her heart hammered in anticipation, trying to block out her racing thoughts. The nurse's office was just around the corner, and as they approached, Emily paused, considering the implications of bringing Tom into this part of her life. Are you sure you want to go in? She asked hesitantly, a twinge of fear creeping back in. What if he saw her not as a woman but as Mia's mom, a role that felt suffocating yet necessary? I'm in this with you, he said, his tone firm yet comforting. Just remember, no one can be perfect, and that's okay. His words struck a chord of revelation. Maybe it was okay to be vulnerable, to show parts of herself she'd hidden away. She took a deep breath and opened the door, steeling herself for what lay ahead. As they stepped into the nurse's office, Emily felt a rush of fear and hope. Would this be the moment where everything would change for the better? She spotted Mia lying on a mattress, pale and fragile, and her heart did a somersault. Mommy! Mia croaked, a smile breaking through her exhaustion. Hey, sweet pea, Emily whispered, rushing to her side, relief flooding over her. Tom hung back, giving them space, but his presence was still a comforting shadow. Watching Emily in this moment, nurturing and fierce, he felt a deeper connection forming. Hi, I'm Tom, he offered, bending down to Mia's level. Your mom tells me you're pretty brave. How can I help? Emily's thoughts swirled as she processed Tom's willingness to dive into her chaotic world, but there was one thing she could not shake off, the fear of letting him in completely. Would this brave step into vulnerability strengthen their bond, or would it send him running for the hills? The tension in her heart raced, leaving her breathless. Everything felt like it was balancing on a fine edge: decisions, relationships, hopes, and Emily stood at the crossroads, facing what came next. Would she step into the unknown, or retreat back to safety? As a soft cough broke through the tension, Emily looked at Tom, whose eyes reflected a silent confidence in her. Would she dare to step forward? And just then, the door swung open again, a figure appearing that Emily never expected. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a woman in pale scrubs, her hair tied back snugly. Something about her expression made Emily's heart drop. It wasn't just the usual warmth of a school nurse, it was a guarded demeanor. Mrs. Johnson. The nurse called, glancing between Emily and Tom. Yes, that's me, Emily managed, unsure if she should hold Mia's hand or keep it free to motion for Tom. The nurse stepped forward, her hands clasped. I'm sorry to tell you, but Mia's temperature is quite high. We've given her some fever reducers, but you may want to consider seeing a doctor if she doesn't improve soon. Concern washed over Emily. Her eyes flicked to Mia, who was struggling to sit up, her little head swaying like a heavy flower. Mia, honey, let us get you some water, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. I'm okay, Mommy, Mia whispered, rubbing her eyes. Mia's stubbornness tugged at Emily's heartstrings. What was she doing? Trying to appear brave while hiding behind her own fears. But how could she show a brave face when even sitting up seemed like climbing a mountain for her daughter? Tom stepped closer again, offering his support without needing to say a word. I could run to the pharmacy for you. You might need some extra supplies, he said, looking at both Emily and the nurse. Emily hesitated, torn between accepting help and feeling like she should manage it all alone. I don't want you to. He cut her off gently. Please. Let me help. I want someone to do the same for me. His genuine tone melted away her initial reluctance. Okay, she finally conceded, gratitude flooding her. Thank you, Tom. As he dashed off, the nurse continued to discuss what they should look for in Mia's recovery. Emily nodded along, her thoughts drifting whenever she caught a glimpse of Mia's weary eyes. She stroked her daughter's hair, wishing she could take away all her discomfort. Mommy, can we go home soon? Mia pleaded, her voice barely above a whisper. Emily's heart clenched. As soon as you feel better, we'll be on our way. Outside, the corridor echoed with the shuffling of shoes and distant chatter, but in that moment, it was just her and Mia, a bubble that felt both comforting and utterly lonely. She never wanted to feel this vulnerable in front of Tom. Wasn't motherhood supposed to be about fierce strength? About not showing frailty? But perhaps there was strength in allowing others to share the load. When Tom returned, he held a bag filled with juice, stickers, and a couple of children's books. I thought this would help pass the time, he said, leaning forward with an animated smile as he handed them to Mia. Wow! Thanks! Mia exclaimed, her pale face lighting up for a moment as she thumbed through the stories. See, this is what being brave gets you. Rewards. He teased lightly, and Emily couldn't help but laugh softly at their exchange. The unexpected comfort Tom brought made her question everything she thought she knew about sharing life's burdens. With every moment he spent with them, she felt a wall inside her beginning to crack. As the nurse walked back into the office with some fever chart printouts, Emily glanced back at Mia, who was now engrossed in a colorful story of adventure. In that simple scene, everything felt a little brighter, a little more manageable, but just then, another knock echoed through the office, a soft yet urgent tap that shifted the atmosphere. The door opened again, an unfamiliar face peering through the crack. Naturally, Emily's heart raced again, anticipatory dread curling in her stomach. Who was this new person? Could she continue to keep her life together in front of a stranger? Could she really face the uncertain challenges ahead? As the door swung wider, revealing someone who absolutely shouldn't have been there, Emily heard the words that would send her heart spiraling into uncharted territories. The door swung open to reveal a tall man with disheveled hair and a weary expression. His eyes fell on Emily, and she felt the air grow thick with an emotion she couldn't name. The nurse, caught off guard, stared at him with a mix of shock and disbelief. Dad? The man said, his voice trembling. Emily's mind raced. Who on earth was this person? Panic mixed with confusion as an overwhelming sense of protectiveness surged through her. She instinctively moved just a little closer to Mia, who, obliviously, remained captivated by her book. Mia's not here for that, she asserted quietly, unsure if she sounded more defiant or scared. Can I help you? Mia, he echoed, as if tasting her name. His face softened, but before Emily could process that flicker of hope, the nurse intervened. Mr. Johnson, this is not the place. You need to leave for now. Her voice was firm, yet Emily sensed a hint of compassion underneath. Wait. Just let me see her, the man insisted, his demeanor shifting from desperation to anger. I have a right to know how she is. Emily felt the tension rise as she faced him. You're Mia's father. The revelation hit her like a wave. A swirl of emotions flooded over her: confusion, anger, fear. How could he just appear like this after all these months, suddenly wanting to be part of Mia's life? Yes, he answered, looking her square in the eyes. I'm her father. I'm here now. What matters is Mia, Emily shot back, feeling a protective instinct well up. If you came to check on her, then you need to respect that she is sick right now. Mia is my daughter too. He snapped back, a glint of pain in his eyes. I've been trying to reach her for months. I didn't know she was sick. The nurse's posture softened just a fraction, as she exchanged a glance with Emily. Let us all take a step back and discuss this calmly. Right now, Mia needs her mother. He stepped forward again, vulnerability slipping into his demeanor. I didn't mean to scare you. I need to make things right. Emily's heart tightened, fighting against the flood of emotions all at once. She felt Mia's trust resting on her shoulders. Should she really let this man in? Could she believe that he was sincere? Could it be that you have changed? She thought, unsure if she was hoping to believe that. With her heart racing, she felt the weight of her decisions pressing down. Tom, who had been standing back in the doorway, took a careful step forward. Look, I think the best thing for Mia is for both of you to take a breath. She's in a vulnerable place right now. The man's jaw tightened at Tom's presence. Who are you? I'm someone who cares about Mia, Tom stated firmly, stepping protectively next to Emily. Right now, that's all that matters. Tension filled the room, thick enough to cut. Emily felt torn, the bubbling confusion in her heart accosting her resolve. Should she give him a chance, or protect Mia from the voice of the past? Mia needs to know who's in her life, the man said slowly, breaking the silence. I just want her to know that I'm here. But what would it mean to Mia? Suddenly, the sound of Mia's laughter broke through, innocent and bright in contrast to the storm brewing in the room. They all turned to see her giggling as she flipped through the pages of her new book, blissfully unaware of the fracture in their world. Emily's chest tightened. Could she really allow this man back in? Or would it open a door she was not ready to walk through? I don't know, Emily whispered, her voice barely audible. I just don't know. And as she stood there, heart racing and breath caught, the man reached out for her, a gesture that could either bring resolution or fracture their fragile bonds even further. The room felt heavy as Emily held her breath, watching the man's hand linger inches from her own. Mia's laughter faded into the background, and all that remained was the storm brewing between them. Please, he said, his voice cracking, I just want a chance to talk to her. I know I messed up before, but I'm trying to be better. I can't take this anymore. Emily's heart ached. She wanted to believe him, wanted to see sincerity etched in his features. But what if it was just another facade, like so many others she'd encountered? Mia doesn't need more confusion right now, she replied, her voice steady as she fought to maintain her composure. She needs stability. And right now, that's me. Tom shifted uneasily beside her. The man's eyes flickered between the two, a storm of emotions brewing within them. What if I can help her? He pleaded, desperation creeping into his voice. If I'd known she was sick. Emily's gut twisted. What if he truly wanted to help? But that hope clashed with her instinct to guard Mia at all costs. And how do I know you won't just disappear again when it gets hard? She asked, crossing her arms protectively. Because I won't, he insisted, his voice growing stronger despite the tremors that ruled his hands. If you give me a chance, I swear I'll prove to you that I'm serious. Mia is what's important, Tom interjected again, his posture still protective. This isn't just about you or Emily, it's about her. If she's caught between you two, Emily's thoughts raced, images flashing through her mind of Mia's trusting smile, of her joy in that moment of innocence. She wasn't sure she could disrupt it. But that man, who was undoubtedly Mia's father, stood there desperate for a second chance, torn between pain and hope. Every day, every moment, I think about the mistakes I made, the man continued, eyes watery with raw emotion. I just want to be the father she deserves. I want to be part of her life. Is that what you really want? Emily asked, softer now, feeling the tension begin to crack. Or are you just feeling guilty? His brow furrowed, and for a moment, the room was silent, heavy with unspoken truths. What was real in this twisted web of emotions? I know I'm late to the party, he admitted, tears pooling at the corners of his eyes. But I'm here now. That's what matters, right? Emily was wrestling with her thoughts, weighing every word spoken like a delicate balance scale. What matters is Mia and what she needs, a father who will stick around. Not just physically be present. Tom nodded in agreement, a soft intensity coloring his features, reminding Emily she wasn't alone in this moment. Still, deep inside her, uncertainty churned. Could she really take a chance on this man? Mia, sensing the tension, glanced up from her book, wide-eyed and curious. "What's wrong, Mommy?" she asked, innocence shining like a beacon. She looked between Emily and the stranger, confusion creasing her little forehead. Emily's heart dropped, the weight of her decisions crashing down like a tidal wave. In that moment, she felt the eyes of the room on her, each one brimming with expectation. "Maybe," she began hesitantly, "we need to talk about this. Together." The man's breath hitched, and for the first time, she noticed hope flicker in his eyes. But with hope came fear, the unseen shadows of the past loomed large. Was she really ready to take that leap into the unknown? The door to Mia's heart was opening, and with it, the possibility of heartbreak, and in that charged moment, before any decision was made, Emily saw the door slowly swing open wider, revealing fragments of a story yet untold. Emily took a deep breath, her mind racing. A part of her wanted to protect Mia from everything, to shield her from heartbreak as best she could. But another whisper inside her pushed for understanding, for growth, not just for herself but for Mia and even for the man standing in front of her. "Okay," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let us talk." The man's expression shifted, eyes wide with surprise and relief. "You mean it?" he asked, almost afraid to breathe the words. "Yes," Emily replied, her determination hardening. "But we do this on my terms. I'm not making any promises, and this is about Mia. Nothing else." "Thank you," he said, tears spilling onto his cheeks. Mia stood, tilting her head. She was still a child, her face mixed with curiosity and worry. "Who is he, Mommy?" Emily knelt down to meet her daughter's gaze. "This is your daddy. He wants to talk to you." Mia's eyes darted to the man, her innocence cutting through the tension that hung over the room. "Daddy?" she echoed, testing the word on her tongue. It was a name chock full of meaning, laden with hope and fear. The man took a hesitant step forward, his uncertainty palpable. "Mia, can I sit with you? I want to tell you about all the things I missed. About how much I love you." Emily's heart raced. She was caught between wanting Mia to experience this connection and fearing what might happen if it fell apart all over again. "Okay," Mia said slowly, clutching her book tighter, the narrative they were writing together about to shift in a monumental way. As the man sat down next to Mia, she glanced back at Emily, searching for reassurance. Emily gave a small nod, fighting back tears, battling the urge to snatch her daughter away to keep her safe. This was at a moment of reckoning. "Do you remember me?" the man asked gently, his voice cracking again. Mia's brow furrowed as she thought about it, pulling at Emily's heart. "Not really. But I have a picture of you." A smile broke through the man's anguish. "Really? What do you remember about it?" Mia flipped her book closed, her curiosity consuming her at that moment. "You were smiling, and your hair was so messy." Laughter bubbled in the room. The man ran a hand through his hair, trying to smooth it down, a playful camaraderie igniting hope in Emily's heart. He shared stories of his own childhood, of playing in the park with friends. With each word, the distance between him and Mia shrunk, transforming the space into something less daunting. Emily watched, tears pricking her eyes. Was this really happening? Could moments of simplicity create a bridge over years of silence and mistakes? Yet, the air still thickened with unspoken questions. While joy fluttered in her chest, it was tethered to uncertainty. "Mia," she interjected gently, "how do you feel about seeing him again? Would you want that? Mia looked at her daddy, contemplating. I don't know, but can we do fun things? Yes. I promise, he replied, a fervent spark lighting his eyes. We can go to the zoo, or we could fly kites, whatever you want. Tom cleared his throat, offering a glance toward Emily as if to say, this is your decision. The right thing was becoming clearer, but would it be enough? As the evening wore on, laughter and excitement filled the air, but beneath it, Emily felt a ripple of anxiety. Could they continue building this bridge, or would it crumble again? And in the midst of this fragile reunion, with moments of joy weaving between threads of doubt, Emily wondered if her heart was strong enough to embrace the unknown, especially as Mia's laughter resonated in the room. Would they all be ready for what lay ahead as the past collided with this new reality? The room was alive with laughter, bright with memories being forged, yet Emily could still feel the weight of uncertainty hanging overhead like a thick fog. This moment with Mia and her father felt both fragile and exhilarating, teetering on the edge of hope and fear. Can we fly kites today? Mia asked, excitement dancing in her eyes. Of course. The man, Mia's father, replied with unrestrained enthusiasm. We'll make it a day to remember. Emily felt a mix of emotions swelling in her chest. Part of her saw the joy blossoming in Mia's face, innocent and wide-eyed, almost as if she were seeing a rainbow for the first time. But another part of her remained guarded, still fighting against the fear that lived in her heart. What if this all came crashing down again? Was it too soon? Maybe we should wait until she's feeling better, Emily blurted, every protective instinct flaring. She's still not well, and there will be time for all of that. The man nodded, understanding glimmering in his eyes. You're right, he said softly. Time is important. I just want her to know she has a father who cares. Emily took a breath, weighing the truth of his words. There was sincerity there, a yearning for connection that gave her pause. How long had he wrestled with his own regrets? Wouldn't he part of being a good father mean showing up, even when it was hard? In a surprising moment of clarity, she realized she was standing at a crossroads, not just for Mia, but for herself, too. Was she willing to step into this new chapter, to explore the potential for healing not just for Mia but for the father who wished to change and grow? Watching her daughter's bright eyes sparkle with hope, she felt a tenderness sweep through her. Okay, Emily finally said, her voice steady but laced with emotion. But this is going to take time, and it's going to require genuine effort. I can't have my heart broken again, and I certainly won't let Mia's heart be broken. Understood, the man replied, his gaze unwavering. I'm ready to try. Mommy, Mia chimed in, her voice small yet powerful. Can we all be a family? Emily's heart clenched at the word. Family. It felt like a promise wrapped in a dream, yet dotted with rough patches. But at that moment, she knew she was done living in fear. It was time to rewrite their story together. With ragged breaths, she looked at the man, heart racing at the unknown future but also brimming with newfound courage. We can be a family, she confessed. But it starts with honesty and trust. We need to talk openly about our feelings, even the hard stuff. I want Mia to grow up knowing she can trust both her parents. I can do that, he said, his sincerity overwhelming her doubts. As they spoke, Emily could feel the air shifting around them, warm with possibility. She had taken a significant step toward healing, not just for her daughter but for herself as well. Hours later, Emily found herself walking arm in arm with Tom, fresh air wrapping around them. He had been right by her side throughout the tension-filled encounter. You did great, he said, giving her a soft smile. I couldn't have without your support, she confessed quietly, looking up at him. I'm still here, Emily, he reminded her, sincerity flowing effortlessly between them. As they passed a park, the colorful kites soared under the sun, twirling like jubilant dancers in the air. She felt a surge of hope, watching Mia giggle under the watchful gaze of her father, this time more grounded. Emily breathed in deeply, knowing she was allowing joy back into her life. This was transformation. The connection she had cautiously begun to embrace was evolving, just like her family was becoming anew. So much was possible, and the future, though uncertain, felt manageable with the support of both Tom and Mia's father. They were a messy tapestry of new beginnings woven from bravery, vulnerability, and, above all, love. "Emily," Tom said, interrupting her thoughts. "As we walk this path together, just remember, you don't have to carry everything alone." She nodded, feeling lighter, more hopeful. "I know that now." And as they walked together, a palpable wave of shared understanding blossomed like spring flowers. The past was behind her, and a radiant future lay ahead, waiting to be painted with all the colors of life. She was ready to embrace it all. To everyone watching, remember, it's never too late to leap into the unknown and cast away the shackles of doubt. Make the choice to value love, connection, and vulnerability. Now this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Yes, it makes a difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. We love hearing from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because you need them to know they're not alone. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Your support fuels our journey together.